The centerpiece of North Carolina's offense is coming back next season, Mr. Drake Maye. But guess what? So too is the heart of the defense, none other than first-team All-ACC linebacker Cedric Gray. And he joins us on today's episode of Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, it's Friday, December 23rd, 2022. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Shade, and I want to thank you for joining us today like you do every day. And yes, if you're watching, I am wearing an ugly Christmas sweater, and it does say Tree Rex on it. You know what? I'm going to my son's school Christmas party right after this, and I'm passing out all the donuts. So absolutely, I'm festive today, and you'll hear my bells jingle every now and again. This episode of Locked On Tar Heels is brought to you by Sling TV. Don't miss next week's Holiday Bowl between the Tar Heels and Oregon Ducks right there on Sling. The TV you love for a price you love. Try it today. Well, folks, today's whole episode is dedicated to an interview with Cedric Gray. We look ahead to the bowl game. We look back at the season it's been, talk about his decision to come back, and of course, some fun quick hitters to get to know Cedric better. Let's get right into it. It's a pleasure today on Locked On Tar Heels to be joined by first-team All-ACC linebacker, Mr. Cedric Gray. And today's interview with Ced is brought to you by Heels for Life, the collective supporting UNC football. And Ced, it's great to have you, brother. Thanks for joining us. Here's where we got to start. Earlier this week, Coach Brown made the news public at his presser on Monday that you are definitely going to be back in Chapel Hill next season. What led you to that decision?
I think ultimately, the number one thing on my list that led to that decision was, I think me personally for myself, I think, I haven't reached my ceiling yet. I feel like as far as my collegiate career, I feel like I have a lot more developing I can do and bettering of myself in preparation to leave next year. Not only that, but, I came to Carolina not to just play football, but to also graduate.
That's right.
And get my degree. That's something that I really want to do and kind of look forward to. And so that definitely kind of played a role in that decision. And I think lastly is just, knowing that, we have a pretty good team and, just coming off of, getting to the ACC championship this year, playing with my brothers. I mean, I just felt like, we should be able to do that one more time. So, yeah, I think those are kind of like the three main things that kind of really led me to that decision.
I love that. I think that means so much, remembering that you are student athlete is what you are. And I think that's such a great example, that desire to finish off and graduate. And speaking of that ceiling that you want to get to, boy, you pushed that ceiling high this year. And I know folks are excited to see how much higher that ceiling can get to in 2023. And we are right in the middle of bowl prep. The Tar Heels in action next Wednesday, December 28th against Oregon in the Holiday Bowl, 8 p.m. Eastern time on Fox at Petco Park, the home of the San Diego Padres. And Seth, as you guys prepare for this game, listen, I know it's been, after a fantastic season, a disappointment to lose these last 3 games. What have you done as a team, and what have you done individually to put those behind you, learn from them, and move forward?
I think, in every game, whether you win or lose, there's a lot that you can take from it, good and bad. And, really just kind of focusing in on, what are the key things that kind of get you beat in football. And kind of looking at, how, like, did we do those things? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of, how you look at it. I mean, and then you take that in and then you kind of make the adjustments off of that. But you never get too high or too low on yourself in it. I don't think, making it a big deal or too much of a big deal is something, that we really need to do. I think we should be proud of, what we have accomplished this season. And I think just keep moving forward, take this as a lesson to learn. Like I said, coming back next year, we've definitely can say we've experienced this before and should be able to, get there, a lot easier this time having that experience. And so really that's just kind of how I look at it. And preparing, for Oregon, I think everybody is very excited to go play a really good team and to kind of, show the world that, hey, we had a good season and it wasn't, just kind of a fluke. And we, so I think everybody's really excited to go out there.
Should be an electric game, two high-level offenses, and that's the next thing I want to ask you about. You have your own electric quarterback in Drake Maye, who's just blown up this season. Well, Oregon, often known for their offenses, has one in Bo Nix as well. As you've looked at him on tape, or as you've thought about how you've faced your own electric quarterback in practices and other things, how has having Drake Maye helped prepare you for another electric quarterback, somebody like Bo Nix?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think having, a guy like Drake Maye on your team, overall just makes the team a lot better. Obviously, his performance, kind of speaks for yourself. But just like how you kind of alluded to, being able to get to go against him, in practice, playing against, a top 5 quarterback in this country, every day in practice. I mean, you tend to, become a better player, kind of doing that. And so, yeah, it's definitely a plus, competing against him, every day for sure. He definitely, kind of challenges you in your drops and different things like that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a good thing to have.
That's great. Now, when this episode releases, we're recording this on Tuesday, but it will release on Friday, which is the day you all are traveling to San Diego. You'll have Christmas with the teammates. You guys, a couple weeks ago, played NC State the day after Thanksgiving. What I want to ask you about is how difficult is it to kind of balance going from football to like holidays back to football and just moving back and forth between those things? How do you focus on the task at hand during holiday season?
Yeah, I think, it's just something that, guys are kind of used to. Obviously holiday season, is a very big and exciting time for a lot of people. But I think, just kind of, always focusing on the mission and knowing, you still have business to handle, even though it's holidays and different stuff like that, or, just days where, most people wouldn't really be doing nothing, it like, not say it like that, but you just kind of, keep focusing because, it's not an excuse that it's just a holiday, but you definitely, enjoy spending those, holiday times with your family
For sure.
or whatever such. It's definitely important to do that. But I think just still focusing on, what we have to do.
Yeah, absolutely. You ever been to San Diego before?
No, I've never been to California. Very, very excited.
What's the furthest west you've been?
I've been to Texas.
Texas.
Houston,
Okay.
Texas, yeah.
Okay, so we're making some new memories for Ced Gray this holiday season. What about this one? You ever played in a baseball stadium before?
So no, I wouldn't say that. We played at Georgia State, which used to be like the
Turner Field. Yeah,
Braves Stadium. Yeah,
that's right.
But not like an actual baseball stadium. So
Yeah.
it should be pretty interesting too.
Man. And what's cool about Georgia State's field is even before the Braves played there, it was where they had track and field at the 96 Olympics in Atlanta. So that stadium's been used for all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah.
So, well, it will be super interesting to watch. I was looking at the diagram of the layout. The Carolina sideline is like basically all of center and right field. So y'all got all sorts of space back there behind you. That'll be an interesting layout for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that bowl game is going to be exciting. We do, though, want to also stop and take a look back, as Seth said just a couple minutes ago, at this super exciting year that the Tar Heels have. We will do that in just a minute. But first, let me remind you that this episode is brought to you by Bet online. BetOnline is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. From pro football to college bowl season, what up, to basketball to the World Cup that just wrapped up this weekend. They've got it all at BetOnline. So make sure you check out the line for the Holiday Bowl, Carolina and Oregon. Going to be a great matchup. It's always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about all the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts. We are joined today by Carolina first team All-ACC linebacker, Mr. Cedric Gray. And Ced, what I want to do is just take a look back at last year first. Starting last season, Eugene Asante had just come off that massive Orange Bowl. The plan was for him to start alongside Jeremiah Gemmel. He does. But then eventually, once we get just to game 3, Virginia, here comes this dude, number 33, Cedric Gray. And it's like, okay, you're coming into the starting lineup. You start popping. By the Florida State game, you recorded double-digit tackle game yourself. In fact, you led the team in tackles that day. What was that experience like for you, of that rapid ascent, moving into the starting lineup and then just blowing up in that FSU game?
Yeah, it was definitely an exciting moment for me. It was just kind of one day at practice. Coach Thig, our linebacker coach, just kind of came up to me. It was just like, hey, you're starting this weekend. And it's something that I was, really happy about. This is, always been a dream of mine to, always kind of get to this level and call myself a starter. So it was definitely a surreal moment for myself. But, I've always been the person who wanted to take advantage of my opportunities and different things like that. And so when I got out there on the field, I just tried to take advantage, of my opportunity as much as I could, and, ended up, having a pretty good season out of it. So.
That's an understatement, my friend. You had a great season. That's awesome. A specific moment I want to go back and look at, and I want to just hear what went through your head as this happened. Last year's Miami game, Tar Heels are holding on to a 45-42 lead. Miami's down at the Carolina 16, a chance to tie or take the lead, and Mr. Cedric Gray comes up with a game-sealing pick. What did you see on that play? What went through your head is like, I gotta catch this ball? Just talk to us about that moment.
Yeah, I can definitely give you a little play-by-play. So we were running like a double A gap blitz. Me and Jeremiah Gemmel, linebacker last year, and basically I kind of came free. But the running back stepped up on me, and then Jeremiah kind of beat the center, but he was able to kind of get his hand on the ball when the quarterback threw it, Van Dyke. Ball kind of tips up, floating in the air. I'm kind of close to it, but not really that close to it,
Yeah.
And then I see Javari Ritzy. He's like about to catch it, and then like one of the Miami guys kind of like hit him or push him, and the ball's just kind of bobbling around. And as that's going on, I'm kind of just approaching them, and the ball just kind of popped right into my hands, and like that was the game. But that's kind of really what happened there. I mean, it happened so fast, but it happened so slow at the same time, because like I can give you every detail about it. But it was definitely, one of the big moments in my career that I'll never forget for sure.
Isn't that interesting how the human brain can do that? These split-second things that happen, and yet it feels like an eternity, and you have that recall of every moment that happens. I hope that never leaves for you, my friend, and you'll always cherish moments like that. As you said, you had a pretty good year last year. I think we can call triple-digit tackles 100. That's a darn good year. But then you jumped higher than that this year, right now at 137 total tackles. What sort of leap do you feel like you've made this season, and what's allowed you to do that?
Yeah, I think, one of the biggest things is just, experience and kind of having that repetition and, kind of learning, how the game is, really played at this level.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'll get it in practice, but, it's nothing like a game, at the end of the day. I mean, the stakes are higher, all different sorts of things. And so I think really getting used to kind of playing the game kind of really attributes to that. But I think I also just got better as a player. I think I got a little bit stronger. I think I've learned how to get a little bit more physical this year, and still see more room to improve in a lot of areas. I've always felt like I've been a pretty good athlete, playing, wide receiver as well in high school. And so I think really just kind of learning, the overall position, of, different technique and all different stuff like that, I think really kind of attributed to me having, a better year this year.
Yeah. Well, and I know we're hitting on a lot of your individual success, and I'm sure you would trade all of that for a conference championship or making the CFP. But if I can, let's just continue to focus in on you. Can you put into words what it means to you to be recognized as a first team All-ACC linebacker?
Yeah. That's amazing to me. Once again, like I said, growing up kind of playing football, you just watching this on TV, seeing different guys growing up do these things. I mean, you only dreamt of doing them as yourself, and just to kind of be living that, it's so surreal for me. So it's very exciting, but it's also very motivating for me because, I want to keep going. My ceiling isn't just here. And so, but it's definitely something that I take pride in, and that I'm very excited that I received that honor.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those who haven't caught on to these things, it's not just All-ACC recognition. Our guy Seth is second in the nation in solo tackles, first among all Power 5 schools. I believe fourth in total tackles in FBS, but again, top among all Power 5 schools. And so, I mean, it's just, brother, ridiculous what you've done, and can't wait to see how that continues on. Feels like this year, man, you and Power have been able to be so consistent game in and game out at the linebacker position, but the defensive line has just suffered so many injuries in front of you. The secondary, so many injuries behind you and beside you. What have you and Power been able to do to help bring along the guys who have been forced into action because of all those injuries?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, me and Power kind of take pride in ourselves and kind of being the leaders.
That's right.
Of this defense. I think that's something that I've kind of always had in me, and Power definitely has it in him. I mean, the energy and the positivity and the viciousness that he brings to the game. I mean, it's just uncomparable. Dude has a real passion for the game. And so I think, mixing that with me and just my, will to, encourage my teammates, I think it was something that really benefited our team. And I think, kind of kept the defense together even when we were going through rough times as a defense. And I definitely think it helped us improve, as a defense as the season went on. So, I definitely think, that played a big role for sure.
Yeah. Well, it has been a special year for the two of you. Not sure if you're aware of this. Power is at 98 tackles right now. And so if he gets two more in the bowl game, you will be the first duo of Carolina defenders to have triple-digit tackles since 2016. Quite an accomplishment for the linebacking core this season. Seth, for you particular, I know you haven't really missed time, but man, it feels like you've been banged up and in and out a lot. So many times where a play will end and you're just down for the count, but you get up and keep going. What is it about you that just, even despite nicks and bruises and everything else, allows you to keep being in there game in and game out, play after play?
Yeah, I mean, I think that just kind of truths to, some toughness. I mean, I think, we play football. I mean, we literally hit each other, for a living. So,
That's right.
having little nicks, and bruises is, for me personally, is not really, an excuse to kind of, sit out. I mean, you got to will your way. You got to do what you can. Not only for yourself, but for this team, to win the game. And that's just kind of what I kind of live by, I'm going to give, all I got until I can't no more.
That's
But
fantastic.
yeah, I mean, usually those are just, little nicks. I mean, like I said, playing linebacker, I mean, you run into people, a lot. So you might catch a little stinger here and there, but, you shake it off and you get back in there.
Absolutely, you do. Love to see it and cannot wait to watch you guys in action one more time this season against Oregon. Going to be a lot of fun, and can't wait to see how many more tackles you add to that total as you guys work to contain Bo Nix and that dynamic Oregon offense. Well, folks, we want to get to know Seth a little better. It's Christmas time, so I've got some quick hitter questions for you. Just boom, boom, boom. Want to get those answers. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Cedric Gray, favorite Christmas movie?
Home Alone.
Home Alone. 1, 2, which one?
Shit, both of them.
Both of them. I love it. Let's go. Best Christmas present you've ever received?
Probably a PS4 when I was in the 7th grade. I wanted that so
bad. Favorite Christmas morning tradition?
Probably breakfast.
Dude, my man's got to eat. He's a linebacker, folks. Let's go. Speaking of which, for Christmas dinner, the thing I look forward to eating most is what?
Mashed potatoes.
Oh, come on. Yes. White gravy or brown? What's your favorite?
Brown.
Love it. All right. I know there's a bunch of different Grinches. There's the original cartoon. There's the Jim Carrey. There's the newer animated one. Which Grinch is the best Grinch?
I don't know. I really can't answer that question for you.
I
might have seen like one Grinch movie.
All right. This one gets, I don't know why people get so bent out of shape about this one, but when is it acceptable to start listening to Christmas music?
When, as early as you can.
That's right. Man, let's go.
It doesn't matter.
You pick when you want to hear it. Okay. Just general quick hitter things. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Yes, that's the right answer every time. Way to go. I'm proud of you. Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter? Instagram. All right. You're eating French fries. What sauce are you dipping them in?
Cheese or ketchup?
Let's go. Little nacho cheese. That sounds great. I'm behind that. All right. Finish this quote. When I'm not playing football or studying, I enjoy doing what?
Playing video games.
There you go. That PS4. What do you have now? What do you play on?
I got the P5 now.
Yes, let's go. What's your favorite game? What are you playing right now?
Right now I'm playing 2K. I mean, I really just play 2K Madden. I play Call of Duty. I play GTA some. And I've been playing this new game. It's called I guess it's not a new game, but it's new for me. It's called God of War.
Okay.
It's very, very popular. So.
Yeah. That's cool. Who is the best video game player on the football team?
That depends on the game.
That's fair. Who do you play with? How about that?
Who do I play with? Let's see. I play with Geo. Play with Storm Duck. I play with a few different people. I play with Jeremiah Gemmel a lot, even though he's not here.
That's cool.
Ravo Hassick. There's a few guys who definitely play the game.
Love it. All right, next one. When my football days are over, I want to do what?
Sleep.
That's the best answer I've ever gotten to that question. Way to go. Okay. You can go to dinner with one athlete, dead or alive. Who is it and why? But most importantly, where are you going to eat?
I'll probably say Deion Sanders.
Yes.
And I think me personally, I think that was like my favorite, like I guess kind of like old school player, if you want, not old school, but for me he's old school, I guess you could say.
Thank you. Okay. He was an athlete when I was growing up, so I'm old. I get it. Okay.
But yeah, he's definitely like probably one of my favorite players ever. And not only that, but just kind of seeing him recently, not just with Jackson State, but even before that, in high school, and how passionate he is about coaching, and kind of giving back to the community, is definitely somebody I look up to and would love to have a conversation with for sure.
I love that. That's very well said. How's he going to do at Colorado?
Oh, he's going to do great. He's gonna turn them around.
I would love
anything he touches turns into gold.
Dude, right? Yes, let's go. I grew up in Atlanta, man. So I was in the years where he was playing for the Braves and then getting on a plane and flying back to play for the Falcons on the same day. That was my childhood. It was awesome. Okay, earlier you reminded folks, if you don't know, our man Seth played a receiver in high school too. What do you most miss about playing on the offensive side of the football?
I say scoring touchdowns. There's no other feeling like scoring a touchdown. So especially doing it at this level. So I got to get me one for sure, definitely before I get out of here.
You missed a big bargaining chip. You should have. Hey, Mack, listen, I need a touchdown on offense next year, and if you let me do that, I'm definitely coming back. You got to get that into your contract or something, buddy. Oh, that's great. Outside of linebacker or receiver, if you could play any other position on the field, what would it be?
If I was able to, quarterback.
Be fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Man, that's good. Well, speaking of contracts and money and stuff, it just seems like NIL, I know there's stuff to get ironed out, and we got a lot to figure out with tampering and other things, whatever. But it feels like it's been such a big win for you guys as student athletes. This ability now to legitimately have gain off of your name, image, and likeness. How are you working to take advantage of that opportunity?
Yeah, I'm definitely working to take advantage of the opportunity. I think first, working with you guys over here at Hills for Life in this collective, and you guys kind of providing different opportunities for us is definitely something I've been using and greatly appreciate. Also, we're kind of allowed to have like a marketing agent or an NIL agent, which I also have one of those as well, who's kind of been helping me get different opportunities.
Good.
But yeah, I definitely think it's a good thing. I think if a person has the ability to make compensation for themselves. I mean, I think
let me get paid.
that should be allowed. So
that's right.
So yeah, NIL has definitely been good, and it definitely is going to have its ups and downs. But I think overall, this is a good thing for college athletes moving forward.
I agree. Love it. And you got one more chance to benefit from that. Doesn't hurt to come back one more go round for it. Cedric Gray, thank you so much for your time. One last question. What does it mean to you to be a Tar Heel?
That's a good question. I would say it just means a lot to me. I think, it's a place of significance, in my life. It's a school who took a chance on me and gave me an opportunity to go to school and to play football there. Something that's always been my dream. But not only that, I think this is a huge chapter in my life. And, you know, Carolina kind of gave me that. And so I think that's the significance. And that's what kind of makes me a Tar Heel.
I love that, man. That is a great answer. Well done. Cedric Gray, happy Christmas to you. I hope that you have a great time out in San Diego. Don't get into any trouble, but go kick some duck butt. Maybe you should watch Mighty Ducks a time or two just to get into the rhythm of it and get ready. Very seriously, thank you so much for your time. We're grateful to you.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
That's it for today's episode of Locked on Tar Heels. That's it for this week of Locked on Tar Heels. Can't believe it. Next time we are together, Christmas will have already passed, and we'll be getting geared up for a bowl game. Such exciting stuff. You can follow the show on Twitter at Locked on Heels. You can follow me on Twitter at Isaac Shade. And of course, go give our guy Ced Gray a follow as well. Huge thanks to him for joining us, even in the midst of all his bowl preparation. You can email the show lockedontarheels@gmail.com. For your next listen, let me encourage you to check out Locked On Sports Today. The biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and of course, the take of the day. It's available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and anywhere else you get podcasts. We'd be honored if you would subscribe to the show if you haven't already done so. If you would smash the like button and leave some comments or questions for Ced Gray, and we'll get those to him. It's been great to hang out this week. I can't believe Christmas is almost here. Happy holidays in whatever way you celebrate. And it is always a great day to be a Tar Heel, right? You know it. Until next week, peace.